Hey everybody, welcome back. Northern Lion plays chess. Somehow, we keep climbing up. We moved up 9 points in the last episode. It's not a lot, but you know, it's honest work. Alright, we're against VT 2010. We play the Karo Khan. What the? Accelerated Panov attack. Am I okay with my queenside being destroyed? In order to make this happen? Why not? He's already given himself a pawn island. It does lead to us having our queen out. Unless maybe we don't want to take this right away. Nah, I mean. What if we did that, for example? I don't care about the fact that he's one pawn up. This pawn's worth... You don't need me to say it, I'm sure. It's not worth very much. What? That's a very interesting move. We obviously cannot capture. On the other hand, I'm like, what? That's a really... I wonder if I just got trapped by some kind of elite gamer move. I kind of feel like I got trapped by some kind of elite gamer move. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna destroy my complete pawn structure. If you want to en passant, go ahead and en passant me. We're removing our king from this pin as soon as possible, and extricating ourselves from the situation. I do wonder about like this. No, I wonder about this. No, because we'll take. Okay, so he does that. We obviously do this. Our king basically cannot castle anywhere. I much prefer, much prefer White's position. We're going to castle. We knew this was possible. We're still going to castle. Now we can capture. But he will not let it happen. We knew this was likely. We're going to keep pressure on. We're not going to take with the queen. We hate this. That's our main weak point right now. There's a similar weak point here, for the record. So do I like this? I kind of like this. It puts some pressure on the enemy. This is obviously a danger. But we have some threat on this as well now that I look at it. I wonder if we can't do something like this. Put some pressure on this pawn. This... Like there's some stuff here I don't hate. Let's put it that way. Obviously, there's some pressure there as well. So they're going to try to take that pawn. What if we didn't let them? Because we're going to... stop them. Somehow. Somehow. Sorry, we don't have, like, forever. We don't have a ton of time. What if we did something like this? What does it do? It lets us do that. And it also gives up the pawn. So maybe not my finest move. Because it also puts us in check. And then they do this. And we do like that. I don't know. It's not good. Like, just a genuinely bad play. A misplay. A blunder, if you will. We don't really care to capture this bishop. It can't do anything. So we're going to be a pawn. Ooh, they missed it. They're going to try to free the bishop, which is smart, quite frankly. I want to defend this, for sure. This defends it and also puts more pressure on this pawn. And I'm going to be honest, I think there's a chance they don't see it. So here's something I like, okay? I got to think about it. We love this. That's what I'll say about that right now. We love it. And he can't really move this. He can really only do something like that to put some extra defense on it. Yeah? Having done this, what can we do to force the issue? Well, we could always do queen here. He'll probably must fall back here. I think. Why there? Because he wants to not lose the knight for free. We have a protection. Sorry, we have a protection here. I don't know. This, again, much like a lot of our games recently, this one has become kind of tactical and strange. Now I'm like, you know what I love? Is this right here, continue the pressure. Then I'm like, what if you just take that? Yeah, it's bad. That was, again, a blunder. Yes. I was really, really hoping he would not see it. But he saw it. This looks bad for us if he takes, but it actually still leaves us with quite a lot of... It leaves us with more attacks. So he has to fall back to defend. We try to put some pressure maybe down here. Like, we're down by 4. That's really bad. But we do have an attack, which is worth more than 0. This has been a pretty blundered game. Maybe playing a little too fast. Or, you know, alternatively, just not thinking things through like at all. There's another option there. So I could see why you would take this approach for sure. We definitely like don't want to trade. So this is it's a thinking man's game. There's really no vulnerable pieces. We want to stay in a line of attack. Like, I feel like if we go here, we're looking at something like this, and then we gotta... Probably that, actually. We gotta start using our noggin a little bit. So this at least defends this pawn. We're in a, just to be clear, a much worse position. It would actually be a lot better for us if we could get our rook in front of our queen, and then we could do rook, capture, rook, queen. No, maybe it's not any better at all. It's just losing with more steps. I also want to like put some pressure on this rook. But we want to, yeah, so we knew this was like pretty much a guarantee. So I think, you know what's an interesting move here? What about this? And presumably they'll move the queen, maybe to here, which would not be great. Or maybe it would be great because it would at least open up this. Here's what I like. Here, let's say they move the queen elsewhere, okay? They move the queen here. We do something like that. But if they don't move the queen there, we can do something like this and get real, like, oh, that's a lot of pressure down here. Let's see how they feel about this. We didn't want to give them, because like this is a really good move that gives them a check, which also discovers the attack on the rook. But now the rook here, they can't do anything. They can't capture. That's not to say they can't do anything. This is also good. It gives us some tempo maybe and forces that. And tempo's worth something. But then what do we do with this rook? Like, probably that. It's not really that strong. I much prefer the rook if we can get it there. Even if they end up doing something like this, you know, us having a little bit more control of the board, I think, is worth something. But we're definitely, like, just to be clear, in a pretty... I think we got tricked, basically. And I'm not saying that is like a rude way to play the game. I think we got tricked, but I think it was fun. Now, I think that he sees the line that we're talking about here. I don't know. This is also interesting. For them, I should say. But we can always like accelerate the danger levels. I don't know. This certainly without a doubt in my mind, I would rather be white in this situation. They have an advantage. They have a bishop and a pawn on us, which is insanely good. The bishop is powerful. It's not doing nothing anymore. I wonder if they're, you know what? I bet they're puzzling that through. Do you think they see it? Let's try it. I want to, like... Suppose in theory you could go there. But now you're not covering this square anymore. And I feel like I just go here, and all of a sudden, yeah, I have more pressure here again. No, I can't go there, because then you take my rook. Oh no! I got destroyed! We have to trade. Because we can't go here, we'll get taken. Can't go here, we'll get taken. Can't go here, we'll get taken. Like, easily. Can't go here, they'll take. Sure, we have an attack there, but then they take, right? Alright, so unfortunately I think I screwed up. Just to be clear, it's a resignable game. I think that at this point, were this like in a tournament play, you would look to this as a resignation. That being said, we've pulled out a lot of games that, quite frankly, we should have had pretty much no chance to win. We're going to move our pawns, like, it's kind of a cheeky rule of thumb. I would say right now, we want our pawns to be on white squares so the bishop can't threaten them. It does mean that the bishop's going to get, like, you know, some powerful outposts. On the other hand, so what? Like, what are we supposed to do about that? Probably a check. I mean, if we didn't want that to happen, we probably shouldn't have given them the free bishop. Is the conventional wisdom. This will not go to time either. We're demonstrably down. We needed our rook here, by the way, to protect against like attacks on this. But even then, I'm like, what if you just did that now? Honestly, it sounds like sore losing, but it's really not. It's almost like respectful of the opponent in chess to resign. Like if they do that, that move is so powerful, I don't know how to get out of it. So I don't know. I guess they were trying to stop this move instead. Why is that move so powerful? Well, because it like I have no way to defend the pawns. I can't move my rook here because then I'll just get taken by the bishop. So I mean, this is really bad. This is like a genuinely terrible situation. What would they be trying to do here? I don't know. Another question is, what can I do in order to make my situation better? And the answers are quite narrow indeed. Saving these pawns does not seem possible to me. I honestly think this is a resign. I think we're down by, and I'll hit him with a good game for sure. I think we're down by more than it looks like we're down. And I think we lost it at the start. So that hurts, but we were outplayed, quite frankly. I think there's a lot to learn from that game. F. We were also, at one point, we were up by 5. What the heck? We had, this is a rare one, 45% accuracy, but 0 blunders. Just a lot of book and a lot of, like, Yeah, at the end, they were up by 7. You know, materially, it was like 4, but in actuality, they were very strong. Okay. This is book, is book, is book. Is book. That's the book move. That's a book move. It's book, dude. That's book. They like that. That's new. Now, this is where yeah, that was now, like, let's not do that. Okay. What would actually be the best move there? I wonder if they just like you always got to test it. They don't love it, okay? You know what? It didn't even dawn on me that we could just move the rook. That would have changed so much of it. I was like, there's no way to get the rook out of there. Yeah, move it. Okay. To which they probably then do this, is my guess. Yes. We do this, and then their queen is forced to do something. Probably, I don't know. It's not great. I mean, b3 reinforces the pawn. Maybe gives you a discovered attack in the future. They don't mind it. They prefer f4, but okay. Good to know. All right, so that's how we deal with that in the future. Just move the rook. Instead, what the heck were you doing? And then everything's still okay. Huge blunder. This is where we should have won the game. What did we do wrong? What was this knight previously doing? I wonder if this is a line that only a computer brain can see. I wonder if it's something like this. Nope, not even close. They like A takes B. Okay, yeah, wait a minute. Is that not what I... Okay, so that would have put us in a great spot. But we didn't do that. We were still tunnel visioned here. So what did we do? We castled, right? Missed win. That hurts. Just admittedly got totally like thrown for a loop with this scene over here. They don't like the bishop take. They prefer the knight take. What's the difference in points? It's like a point. That's pretty big. What are you doing? Now they're like, black has the advantage again. Great move. So what? They actually like us right now in the game, even though we're down by 1. What are you doing? Yeah, they're like, why didn't you take this? It's another missed win. Wait a minute. What's the missed win on this? Surely it's not that. Is that? Nope. Is C5? If we had done it earlier, puts us up by 2.87. All right, well, that's not what happened. We did this. Missed win. They still like us. Very questionable move. Very questionable move. Very questionable move. And it just, okay, we got another missed win. This is a little embarrassing. What's our missed win? Is it this? No. Queen to D4. Okay. To which they would do probably... they got a problem. Right here and right here. Okay, so they would probably do that. No, they don't like that at all. What are you talking? They would do this instead. And then you would do this. Clearly this game was a little bit out of my weight class. I guess we're not pushing for the rook, we're pushing for the win. Then we would do this. Okay, and let's see how this would develop. We're up by 3. We have the material advantage here. I wonder if they would just... They probably would not push that, no? Say they probably don't push that. Do they like the check here, maybe? Oh, they do like that. Okay, weird, you know. I knew at some point it would be right. We probably just take it and realize the advantage. Oh, they like the rook take instead. But I was wondering, like, isn't the rook take, like... I guess you have to do that. They prefer the queen. What the heck is happening? And then you have to take. They take. The blunders are out of control. Oh, you take with the knight. Okay, and then they presumably do that, and then you probably just maybe like that, and then you do it. So, okay, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but that game was a mess. We deserved to lose about 20 times. Our opponent also kind of deserved to lose, but not in a salty way. That was like, it was a good game. All right. Renato M. Gregorio, 1949. Little D6 opening, huh? Interesting. I don't know what to think about that, quite frankly. Do feel like we probably push D4 regardless. Maybe try to get some control of the center a little faster. See, this, I don't like that. It may actually be some semblance of book, but I definitely do not like it. I actually think in this line, and again, I'm going based on runtime analysis in my head, right? Like, this could be very wrong. But I feel like in this line where our opponent is kind of declining to compete for the center, we agree. And we push to E4 in the hopes of establishing a little bit more control, basically from here to here. And if they want to play like a very tightly contested and congested game, that's fine. We'll just make sure that we're in control of more space, hopefully. Because, like, you know, this knight, it's not necessarily bad, but it means that this bishop can't get out. So this bishop is kind of just stuck there. I imagine next is something like G6. in order to, because they would like to kingside castle, I'd imagine. And if they're going to kingside castle, if we want to dismantle them, how would it happen? It's a good question. I kind of don't mind the theoretical. Well, actually, I like a couple of things here. What? It's the Czech variation, and they're from the Philippines. That is not the Czech flag. It's my mistake. I kind of like d4. And then if they want to... No. Well, yeah. Yeah, honestly, I think I do kind of like d4. And then I want to see how they react. I think, were I them, I would do this, to which I would reply that. It just like, I don't like this because it leaves this so wide open for them, but it's wide open for me too, so what do I know? Now, am I going to match them symmetrically? Yes, because I'm going to cancel kingside. I don't want to do that, and then, you know, have them have the ability to maybe like start pushing me down. So I'm actually going to match them on symmetry there. It makes that spot pretty powerful for their knight. I'll give you that. But what I'm hoping, like the dream for me would be that they maybe do this. I would totally take, because this screws up their kingside something fierce. And I mean, just at a glance, I'm not going to say that you would necessarily, in all circumstances, prefer white's position, but this pawn is a real sore spot for them. Not to say there's not anything they can do to get around it, but... And if a check, like, we don't sweat the check. If the check comes in, somehow it comes in. Like, we're not worried about it. We like, well, it's complicated, but we do like bishop to d3. This does a lot to stop it, but we can always just fall back one. Or we could just castle. Either way, that it works pretty well. They have a tempo right now. I don't know, maybe the position is more equal than you would think. Now, do we prefer the bishop or do we prefer tempo? I think for now, we prefer the tempo. I think this knight could be better than this bishop, but it's a debate. What we probably don't want to do is, yeah, I was just going to say, take, and then what would you hate to see? They're probably going to castle. I think we do threaten their knight. We start to maybe put some pressure on the bishop as well. Stack. Oh, this is not how the mouse works. Stack up the file here with the rooks. We really want to put some pressure on this knight and the bishop as well. Now, weak points for us, right there. This is not an unexpected turn of events. We would match you 1 for 1, I think. Now, this is a rare situation where we have a time advantage. It doesn't happen all that much. It's a nice open game, for sure. I don't know. Were I the black pieces, what would I do here? I would honestly love for you to push me one more. I wouldn't take it. Well, I probably wouldn't take it. But I don't mind putting some pressure on this pawn that's otherwise kind of tough for you to reinforce. I think it opens up some strategic stuff I'm not super displeased by. I think he did not want me to do that. I think he is upset that he wanted me to retreat. But we're definitely not, like, you know, in an insanely good position or anything like that. It's a wild one, right? So we know what's going to happen. I take, he takes. Maybe we would prefer to give him the option to take. No, because it's reinforced doubly here. What about, not that. What about this? He takes, I take. Whoever takes first along this file loses control over it. But I think if we do this, the problem is that then that kills us. Yeah, that becomes like a very strong move. So I think instead, we probably do just take. And then this feels like a moment of potential arbitrage. I'm like, I want my knight to be here. No, we can't just do this though, because then like that crushes us. But I think we can do this and start to stack up the files. The problem is if he's going to take us anyway, it's not that good. So I actually am now looking at maybe something like this. And the idea is we could get our knight to here. Obviously, like the bishop is holding that right now. If they want to trade the bishop in that situation, I'd be okay with it. I really don't mind if they swap here, because again, I think it gives us control over the E file, which is kind of like a major projection of power. And I'm just looking at it and I'm like, okay, this knight has a lot of coverage right now. Let's ignore the back line. This knight's got some very similar coverage, but also here. And I suppose here. Queen's doing great stuff. Rook's, you know, kind of intersecting. What the heck are they doing? I don't really know. Like, this knight is doing nothing. This pawn is reinforced only by the queen. So why? Why is the question. Maybe they're, yeah, oh, you know, so they want to take that space away. That might not even be that bad of a move. I think I want to try to force them to swap. It does give up a tempo. But, I mean, they're using their move to swap. So I guess I don't mind it. We have some powerful stuff. Like, that's pretty good. Threatens this. These pawns are a mess. The knight is doing nothing. It's still not doing much. Not to be rude. But we like this. I do feel like maybe we're about to get like bishop to f6 or to f4, sorry. I don't think I care. I think if they did that, we respond with something like this is insane. Threatens this pawn. Okay, so they saw that coming. We want to threaten this pawn now and just keep, like, we want to avoid the c file becoming a real problem for us, but so I would say we want to threaten this pawn. The only place to threaten it is right there. What would we do after that? Maybe go here. Yeah, okay. I think this is okay. You know the games are getting harder because I'm spending more of every video like interesting. Very interesting. I like Rodrigo. He's a gamer who's not afraid to make some spicy moves. I still like the idea of this move because it puts pressure on this and forces a response. But I will admit, this is an interesting reply. To which we might have to respond with something like that. Okay, so they're choosing to play a little bit more defensively. I think we have to start pushing our kingside pawns. Like this and this. Or this and this, but let's take some time. And by take some time, I mean spend some time. Am I okay with... No, because they probably take with the bishop, right? If they take with the queen, we take this pawn. We've gotten the material advantage. They put us in check. We move. They take this pawn with the queen. It gets a little complicated. I don't think we want to trade. Let me put it that way. So I'm going to give them control of the file. And I'm going to accept that as part of the cost of doing business. This seems like a very powerful square now. Maybe we do want to do that. I'm going to accept this as part of the cost of doing business. Because now their queen is at least trapped and can't really do much. They want to prevent that move, okay? Or maybe reinforce the bishop if it comes there. It gives us a pawn for free, though. I think I still like this. And then we push that. But we have to be careful about letting them in so far behind enemy lines. Time might be more important than we would usually expect. I do wonder, what if we just did this? Puts an extra square of protection on all these pieces. Their knight cannot go anywhere. We did a good job with our pawn structure. You got me retreating. There is no denying that. So I'm running it through. And I'm like, okay, what if I go here? You're not going to do that. You might do that. And then I would be forced to fall back here. Maybe we just prefer our power projection from here instead. I would say that's probably fair. And we can start to reinforce this square. And if they ever get baited into moving the bishop, we would have a fork. But it's unlikely. Whose position do I prefer? It's a great question. I don't have a good answer. I feel like neither party is really doing a whole lot, but that's okay. More pressure on this. Very sensible. Now I'm like, okay, hold on. What if we did this? Let's run it through. They could take, best case scenario, they get a swap, right? And a move. I think that's our move. Honestly, I think that's our move. They can't take. They can't take. They could put us in check. I don't think that helps. I suppose if they wanted to, they could just move the queen to like... Yeah. So I thought I royally screwed it up. When I heard that check, I was like, it's over. All right, so powerful squares for us. I can't even draw right now. Something like that. Getting the knight in behind enemy lines is worth a lot. Time is very, very important. We can't really leave this pawn undefended, though. Otherwise, it could all fall apart very quickly. Now, if they do this to try to push this knight, they will not. Okay. So we're just going to try to reinforce on this side and gain some time. We don't want to let them capture here. We want to be the ones to capture. And then we want to let them capture again if they so choose. This knight is not that powerful. We could move this knight. What's its best move set? It's a very good question. It does give up this space, but I think I'm okay with it. think it's here. I know it seems super backwards. We used a lot of time there, by the way. But our goal is to get a knight here without abandoning this position. Although now I'm like, oh, their king can get there. So we knew that was coming. I'd like to think I knew that was coming. So we have to do something like this to prevent the push, because they really want to put some pressure on this piece right now. Honestly, now, I'm like, okay, hear me out. King here. Knight here. Knight here. I don't know what this does, but I think I'm okay. Do we still like king here? Why don't we just do knight here first? That was where it was a second ago, I will admit. Okay, we're only 7 seconds down. I think we're in a winning endgame position, but I think that my endgame work is not very good right now. Just being honest. You know what I actually like the idea of too is what if we could get a trade? It's so spicy though. I think I loved this. Because you're not attacking this pawn anymore. I'm like, what if we do this? Where are you trying to go? You trying to maybe get me here? I don't want to give up the free space. I think we let this happen. If you want to push it, push it. I'm a little worried about this, I suppose. Okay, maybe an understatement. Interesting. That tempo may prove very valuable. Or it may not. That's the other option. So they're just going to go for it. They have to take. Otherwise I push. Careful. We got to be fast on these. I actually think that's fine for us because now his knight is so trapped. I think he needed to get his knight to here to cause this pawn to fall. I think we just won. Yeah. By the way, I think if we had time to puzzle it out, we would have won this in the end game as well. I think when we look at the analysis, it would say that we have a pretty good position. So it was a very well played game, in my opinion, at least. One mistake, 0 blunders. Like, I feel like that might be one of my better played games of the series, which I'm always happy to have, especially when we blunder so heavily in the first game. We only played it a 70, so never mind. But how did it really? They were up by, I guess they had an end game that could force us there. But look, this is like the least swingy game I've ever seen. That's crazy. So let's go through this kind of quickly because this is a long video already. They actually don't really like the d5 push. They prefer h3, which I can only imagine is to, like, let's see. So I do h3. What do they do next? They don't like g6. They like c5. Okay, so I'm just trying to see the best move. I'm trying to see what the setup was for us to have gotten into this position in the first place. I bet they like the take. No, they prefer bishop e7. My point is, what's the point of h3? That's not a good move. Was it to get g4 at some point and try to do like a kingside push? They like it okay, but well, all right, I don't know. It's just book. There's the long and the short of it. So we're still doing okay. They like... Oh, you know what? I forgot we could just play and pause. They like it. It's fine. They like it. It's fine. They like it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, dude. Good moves. So pretty standard. Nobody made any major blunders. They like the take. That's our first inaccuracies. Well, first big ones at least. It's such a tight game. Like, if you're watching the points, they change so little. Let's wait till we see something outrageous. They like that move, which I was not necessarily expecting. Like, this is played pretty clean. In fact, the black did really well to just keep the advantage. Like, they managed to get themselves like half a pawn up in the analysis at least. Okay, so they don't like that. They think that that gives up a big win or a big chance. Why? They like this to keep the game even. What happens? What's the best response to this then? I don't know. I don't know the answer. Things get complicated. One thing's for sure. They should be able to push me down here. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Okay, so usually this is fair. In an endgame, you use your knight to try to... he kept the attack up here. That's not that valuable, I guess. They probably want the knight to actually get around. It still attacks this, by the way, but it covers more space here. And maybe like somehow start to attack the enemy pieces. If I can get an attack on this that's not covered, they move the pawn up. We go back here. Then they have to move the pawn up again. We go here. You just make the knights a nuisance in the end game. But anyway, they did that. So we're back to even. Even. Not a great move. This gave us a pawn advantage. They prefer the push. Okay. That actually gave up a lot. And they prefer the push again. I can understand why. Because the situation, if we push, they probably don't push because we just take. If we push, let's say they do something else, then we push again, this bishop is pretty locked, but that's not what happened. Okay. Pretty even game. They get their king involved. This puts us up by a little. Still keeps us up. Still good. Even. Good move. Best move. I'm surprised they still like black's position here. Because at this point, I actually thought... I mean, king to f1 is a mistake. I thought it was so good. Like this... In the endgame, that should be like a loss. I wonder how this would have played out. So, like, we did this. What is their best move now? I bet they try to get their knight involved. No, the king to d5. Okay, hold on. Check. It's the best move. They probably like this. No, they like c4. Okay. c4. How do I defend this? I do that. Then you do that. No, you do. I mean, we're going pretty fast here. You do not do that because it gives up this pawn. Can't afford to. Now it's all about what's free. And what's free? This knight. Okay. Well, you maybe move a g7. I go to e1, apparently. You'd think I want to get the king involved a little faster. Then... I think you want to get to, like, here, I should say. So I think you do this. They hate it. No, because the knight just takes it, dummy. They actually like the pawn push. All right, well, our best move at that point, I would assume, is like that. d2, okay. They probably push again. I don't see a reason not to. We can't push, so what do we do? Great question. I guess we go here? No, they hate it. They like king to e2 again. All right. It's an inaccuracy. Knight to f5 is best. We probably do this. Nope, they hate it again. Okay, that uncovered that space, so we put some pressure on this one. Then they push. They like it. I go here, presumably. What do they do next? Here? I'm blundering like crazy. Knight to e3 is best. Ah, puts pressure on this immediately. And that's a loss. Now, mind you, with 50 seconds on the clock, kind of hard to see the lines, as you can see. Either way, we went 1-1, and that was a pretty well-played game. In terms of not... We didn't make the best moves all the time, but we didn't make too many inaccuracies or blunders. We made 0 blunders and 2 mistakes, 1 inaccuracy. Not too bad. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode today. It's kind of a technical one, especially that second one. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Thanks for all your support, and I'll see you next time. See ya!